Can't open this up. So, if you're familiar, Jarvis Butts is the man that is the suspect in the disappearing in Redrum of Naziah Harris and had a relationship with her when she was 13 and got her pregnant. And they still haven't located the body, but his trial is set to start October. I thought it would have already started. So this we doing the update and a recap because I thought that it would have started by now. Hold on, here we go. Let's go here. Shit, let me do it up there. Let me just grab my other phone because I got TikTok on this phone. Let me find where I wanted. Damn, I couldn't even bring that up. I wanted to do that one. Hold on. You need two phones. Okay, here we go.
Breaking news, y'all. They found a body. They said they found a body. It was human remains found on the west side of Detroit. If y'all have not been following the Naziah Harris case, that's the first thing that comes to my mind with this situation. I don't know if it's her. They haven't, they haven't revealed. Other than it was a small body that they believe belongs to a female. Naziah was 13 years old at the time of her disappearance a year
Right,
ago.
but yeah, they
She was,
haven't.
she was pretty small. She was like 5'2". So they're saying that it was a small body. It was a foot sticking out of the ground, and it was wrapped in a burlap sack. And they have to do excavation in the wintertime, so they're not sure when the results of the autopsy and everything is going to come back with a identification of who this is.
Right, because it hasn't been identified that that's her body.
So yesterday they quietly dropped a hearing with the Naziah Harris case. Yesterday they quietly dropped this little hearing on YouTube of the Naziah Harris case. So Jarvis Butt, he went to court yesterday. Apparently he had 4 or 5 different charges. Now the crazy thing about this is that his lawyer was actually fighting to get a couple of the charges dropped because they were saying that he was charged with first degree when it really wasn't no penetration. It was second degree and it was just touching. Now prosecution wasn't hearing none of that because they said they questioned the girl and she said that it was some penetration even though it was his hand. And guess what? The judge stood with them and said, yeah, he gonna stand for them charges. Now, the crazy part, I don't know, it looked weird to me. Listen, everybody is entitled to, representation. But to see a black man sitting up there fighting for him and Jarvis Butt got his head hung low, like he really sorry for what he did. No, you sorry that you got caught, nigga.
Facts.
Now,
Facts.
up there fighting and stuff for him saying that, oh, he might not have got the right charges. You gonna stand there and you gonna face the facts. You need to be put in front of everybody. Okay? When it comes to kids, it's no bars, hell. Now, Jarvis Butt's up there the whole time acting like he's so sorrowful and pitiful with his little face mask on. COVID over, we wanna see you, nigga.
Facts.
Now, apparently he go back to court in October. He also had a hearing for a case where basically he had to hear the charges and what he was charged with around the same lines of the stuff that he was charged with the Naziah thing. Now the crazy thing is that the stuff that they was trying to get dropped, apparently that's the stuff that was involving his own kid, his own daughter, the one that he was touching. This is about to get real messy the farther we go into it. But I'm gonna update y'all in court in October. I'm just a messenger. So yesterday they quietly dropped a hearing.
Yep, and I thought that it would have started.
Yesterday they quietly dropped this little hearing on YouTube of the Naziah Harris case. So Jarvis Butt, he went to court yesterday. Apparently he had 4 or 5. I'm not a lawyer, but I am a mother, and there is a case out of Detroit that has absolutely broken my heart. Let
Mine
me tell you
too.
everything you need to know about why this
this man has been charged with the death of this 13-year-old little girl. And yes, it's what you're thinking. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that this is a circumstantial case. There's no body, no weapon, and no eyewitness.
It says that the cause of death remains unknown, which, Judge, obviously, Ms. Quick is getting to one of the main issues in this case, and one of the big questions in this case that I anticipate is going to be a defense argument.
We all know that that's one of the big issues here in this case. So I will admit it with your objection noted.
A little bit of context to set you up. This is Naziah Harris, and in 2024, which is the year she went missing, she was living with her grandmother, Annette Harris, her aunt, Shannon Harris, and her aunt Shannon's 5 children. Naziah's biological mother was not in her life.
And you are Naziah's maternal grandmother, right?
Correct.
You're also her adopted parent, right?
Correct.
And you said you adopted her in 2016?
Yeah.
Is her birth mother still around?
She is.
Okay. Does she have a relationship with her?
No.
She doesn't have any type of relationship, no contact with her that you know of?
Well, let me say this. I don't deal with my daughter, so she really didn't have no contact with Naziah like that. She only came around now and then.
Now, the father of Aunt Shannon's 5 children is this man, 41-year-old Jarvis Ramon Butts.
Do you have any children?
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids?
I'm not a lawyer, but I am a mother, and there's a case out of Detroit that has...
Man, it is awful. It is awful.
Piece of absolute crap.
Remember, bitch, all men are liars, so fuck.
Now, he was charged July 1st in another alleged assault of a young girl. He even gave his 4-year-old child a STD. He need to be up under the jail. The man who was charged in the sexual assault and Redrum of 13-year-old Naziah Harris is now facing another charge for another alleged sexual assault of a young girl. Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy charged him with 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, person under 13, and third-degree criminal sexual conduct, person 13 through 15. It alleged that Butts sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl in the spring of 2013 at a home in Allen Park. Last year, Butts was charged and arrested in connection with the SA and murder. Shoot, I done said it all anyway. Redrum of Naziah. He was bound over for trial after a multi-day preliminary hearing. Butts is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with her. She was pregnant, and that's why she was unalive. But they still have not found the body. They said they found the body, but it hasn't gone through autopsy, so it's not sure if that is even her. Then he was charged on another SA of a girl when she was 8 years old. Why did they take it down? Here, let me do this. Why did they take it down? They told you they gonna give it back. Hold on, let me drop the link. There go the link. And I'm gonna continue anyway, so the girl is now 20 and they going back and charging him for her SA assault when she was 8 years old. And he served 10 years for SA and another child. And when they read them text messages between him and Isaiah, I was in tears. And can we hear this? Let me see what this is.
He had 4 or 5 different charges. Now, the crazy thing about this is that his lawyer was actually fighting to get a couple of the charges dropped because they were saying
Oh,
that he was
I already
charged with
played
first degree.
that. I already
There are
played that.
developments today in the investigation of a Queensland social media.
New evidence against Alana Harris has been brought forward. She was actually caught on camera while in the hospital while her child was being treated for a...
Anyway, we're going to get into the recap part. So they have not given a date of this trial because it was supposed to have been started, because I'm going to watch this every day because he need to be up under the jail. Oh, you don't? This is out of Detroit. A PDF file who went to prison for 10 years for saying his own daughter gave her STD at 4. And this is about the 13-year-old that he got pregnant. And the body hasn't been found yet. I'm about to bring you up to speed in 1 second.
Be in the description box on the playlist for this case. It's called Nazaya Harris. In brackets it says Jarvis Butts trial. Trial hasn't happened yet, but we're preparing ourselves for the trial. But of course, I think the most important thing would be finding Nazaya. Stomp around and search. Across from this one. Here's the other one. Quick oil auto.
Okay, no, we're not going to do this video. No. That's just too long. No. We're going to delete that. Let's get to here.
Right now, Jarvis Butts is awaiting trial for the murder and sexual abuse of Nazaya Harris.
After listening to days of testimony last month, a judge called Butts a monster and said that opportunities to protect the 13-year-old girl were missed. Tonight, the 7 investigators are revealing years of warnings that preceded Butts' alleged crimes.
Warnings that family members say were made to Children's Protective Services that could have saved Nazaya's life. Here's what 7 investigator Ross Jones has uncovered.
You look at that face, and you do not see the horrors that she had gone through in her short life. The exploitation, the molestations, the sexual abuse, and the pregnancy that she was concealing.
Years before Jarvis Butts would be charged by Wayne County's prosecutor, accused of killing and sexually abusing 13-year-old Nazaya Harris, Harris's own relatives say they saw the warning signs and told anyone who would listen.
So at that point, I was like, this is too much. I'm calling a CPS. I tried, not just once, but multiple times, for them to take us serious, take me serious in what I was saying.
Kiwana Morton and her cousin Jernell are both relatives of Nazaya Harris. In February of 2022, Jernell says she learned of allegations of improper touching involving Butts and other small children. She says she was told about the claims while talking to her niece, Jarvis Butts' girlfriend, and that the alleged victims were Nazaya Harris and 2 other children.
I was just like, oh.
Right, because Nazaya's, who she stayed with, aunt had 5 children by him. She knew that he went to prison for 10 years for being a PDF file or messing with his own daughter, giving her STD. She still had 5 kids by him. Listen, it's just unreal.
Oh my God, I was not crazy. This needs to be looked into.
She says she took the claim seriously in part because Butts was on the sex offender registry, having spent more than 8 years in prison for 3rd-degree criminal sexual conduct. She didn't alert authorities at first because she
Hey,
believed
Spark,
her
hey,
niece would
how you
notify
doing?
police. But weeks later, Janelle did notify Child Protective Services. Her complaint came in on April 13th, 2022. There was an incident at a birthday party, the complaint reads. One of the children that attended the party accused Jarvis of sexual abuse. Naziah, and name withheld, reported that Jarvis touched both of them inappropriately as well. Jarvis touched, name withheld,
Exactly,
area,
therapy.
and it hurt. Janelle made the complaint over the phone.
They basically told me if they needed me for anything else, they would reach out.
The next day, Janelle would receive a text from her niece, Butt's girlfriend, confirming that CPS had contacted her. CPS called me, the text reads. They called about the well-being of my kids. Then they called back to get Jarvis info. A CPS spokeswoman would not tell 7 News Detroit if investigators ever questioned Naziah Harris after receiving the complaint. But we do know it wasn't the only complaint filed with CPS, naming Jarvis Butts.
And it wasn't easy for me to call Protective Services just because of the horror stories that you hear.
Kawana Morton said she heard about the same allegations against Butts from a conversation with his girlfriend. 2 months after her cousins called to CPS, she would file her own complaint.
I told them that there's a problem and they need to be aware of it. I am 90% sure that there's sexual abuse going on within the home.
Did you specifically mention Jarvis by name?
Yes, absolutely.
Internal CPS records we obtained show that investigators looked into that complaint, conducting a face-to-face interview with Butts, who strongly denied the allegation. A forensic interview was conducted with the alleged victim, and no disclosures were made. CPS said the home was clean and free of observed safety concerns. The allegation was denied, assigned a low-risk level. These are 2 complaints of an...
Now, how is it a low risk level when he already has served 8 years as a PDF file, touching and giving his own 4-year-old daughter a STD? How the fuck is that a low risk? And he had already served 8 years before. And you kept this man around children knowing that that would trigger him. It's a damn shame. But I thought the trial, I don't know why the trial hasn't started, because it should have.
The prosecutor added, or it upgraded, I think it's the better term, a charge today. So we are grateful for that. But one of the questions that I get a lot in the comments is asking about the grandmother's history in terms of her
therapy.
having her own children and how she was able to get foster children, and then was Jarvis, but
how the fuck was she able to get foster children with a PDF file living in the household? How? How is this possible?
living in the home or not, things like that. If you guys could clarify for us any, whatever information you can share, because of course this is still an ongoing investigation. So we don't want to say anything that's going to interfere with that process, but anything that you guys can share in terms of the dynamics of the home, as far as the access maybe that Jarvis had to the children. You said how many children were in the house, but again, like I said, that with the public already being aware that there was issues with the grandmother, would you either one of you know how she was able to bring in foster children
therapy
in the home?
You want to answer that, Kiwana, or you want me to answer it?
It don't matter. You can answer.
Lies. She lied. And I'm assuming that foster care didn't do a very good check on her.
Right, that part.
She was able to even get custody of Naziah and her brother, as well as not when she was able to get the other foster children she has cared for, as well as the 2 children that she fostered and has adopted.
And also, I would like to add, we found that she had only made them aware that she had 2 children, and she has more than 2 children.
She got 5
So I don't
by
know
him.
if cases were missed from that. I'm not sure, but
she has 7 children. From what I understand, I have people I know who work in foster care and things like that. They ask you about your children. They want to interview your children, see how your children are, how they turned out, where they life went, what type of upbringing they had. Well, unfortunately, out of her 7 children, the first one ran away at a very young age. The second one, he stayed home till 18 and went to school. Then Zaya's mother, she has had some difficulties in life and ran away at 13.
Damn.
The next child ran away at 16.
Damn, what was...
And the next child left.
This the grandmother. So what the hell going on in your house where they running away at 13? Damn.
17 or 18. And they just all have been going through some triumphs in their life that we feel they would have never had to go through if they had had better parenting. This is one reason why my father, my father and my grandmother tried to help Annette when she was young. And she wasn't receptive to the help that she received. My grandmother and father got her 11 years old. She was pregnant.
Damn.
My grandmother helped her get a HUD home, paid for attorneys to help her get her baby because he ended up becoming a ward of the state because she was so young. And Annette just continued to be promiscuous and things like that. But she was a victim of...
Right, because she was touched. So either when you touch at a young child, either you're going to be promiscuous or you're going to be withdrawn.
A lot of trauma herself.
Damn, had a baby
so
at 11. Damn, that's fucked
they have
up.
Some issues too. Everybody got their problems, but it's to the extreme.
If I may ask, Deborah, I'd like to ask this question: how did the alleged accuser, how did he even come into contact? I'm trying to figure out, how did she get in contact with him? She lived in one residency. He lived in another. What was the connection of the contact?
As far as Nazaya?
Yes.
Her aunt, my niece, her aunt Shannon, that was her boyfriend, the father of her children. Wherever Shannon was, he was.
Okay. So I guess a lot of the people, I'm getting some, people are digging me on the other end, but they're trying to understand. They thought that the child lived with the aunt.
No, Nazaya was living with her grandmother, Annette. But Shannon was always over Annette's house prior to moving back in with her. I think she moved back in maybe August or something of 2023. She was living in a townhome that I let her live in. She was living in a townhome. It's a Section 8 townhome. I incomed out of it when I graduated from nursing school. I signed it over to her thinking it would be a stepping stone to help her and her children. And we would keep it in the family, and maybe the next person who needed a stepping stone to go finish school or whatever could use it. Well, Shannon got evicted from that townhome because of her and her shenanigans with Jarvis.
Damn.
So she ended up having to move back in with Annette sometime in August or September.
The whole family just fucked up. That's what that is. Damn. This the saddest. Oh no, I don't want to do that one because that was that one. No, we're gonna let that one out. This is Shannon, the one boyfriend with the 5 kids by the PDF file. This is her. This is her testimony, and I'm not gonna let all that play. And some people saying she the one that actually unalived Nazaya, and that's Shannon. Let me move
Can you
past.
state your name for the record, ma'am? And Miss Davis, I want to ask you about someone by the name of Jarvis Butts. Do you know that person?
Yes,
And how do you know Mr. Butts?
he was my fiance.
And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes,
Could you point to him and identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
he's right there with a green top on.
For the record, the witness has identified the defendant, Jarvis Butts, in this matter.
So, but
Thank you. And how long, you said he was
Right,
your fiance.
right, therapy.
How long in total have you known Mr. Butts?
4 years.
And
2019.
2019? Is that a yes?
Yes.
And when did you become engaged?
2023.
And can you tell us a little bit about the nature of that relationship? Do you have any children with him? Things like that.
No children.
Okay.
You got 5 kids.
But sometimes stay over at your house?
Yes.
How often would that happen?
Pretty often, but we didn't live together.
Okay. I want to take your attention back to January of 2024 and February of 2024. Did there come a time when Jarvis Butts asked you to drive him to court?
Yes.
And when was that?
February 7th.
Of 24?
Yes.
And was there a time before that that you had to drive him to court?
Yes.
And when was that?
January, I think it was the 9th.
Okay.
It was in January.
So you've at least driven to court twice?
Yes.
And let's talk about January 9th date that you drove him. What was the reason he wasn't driving himself? Why were you driving him?
Because he thought he was going to have to turn himself in then for another case, and then they rescheduled it.
Okay, so
Right, therapy.
turn himself in, but didn't actually end up doing that.
Correct.
Okay. And then on the 7th, did he ask you to drive him to court again?
Yes.
And what was the reason that you drove him to court on the 7th?
Because he was supposed to turn himself in.
And did he end up turning himself in on the 7th?
Yes.
Okay. When you were driving him on the 7th of February 2024, first, what kind of car do you drive?
2005 Suburban.
And what color is it?
Tan.
And when you were driving him to court, who else was with you, if anyone?
Nobody.
Just you and Mr. Butts?
We not gonna listen to all that testimony, but I wanted y'all to see who she is, and I'm gonna stay on this because I'm not going to, because the trial should have been started. Let me see when this trial.
You're looking at a picture of Nazaya Harris, a now 14-year-old girl from Detroit. This picture was taken a short time before she would go missing, never to be seen or heard from again. It was taken by Nazaya herself, a selfie. This is the last known picture that we know about of her. She is smiling and waving and saying hello, but little did she know that she was really saying goodbye. Nazaya Harris has been missing since January 9th, when she was last seen getting off a school bus in the area of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive. This case has been solved, well, kind of, meaning we know who did it, we know why this person did it, but why didn't anyone protect Nazaya?
Right.
And why is she still
That's
missing?
her aunt.
Was the family in on this? Hello, strangers. Welcome back to the Strange Bar and Grill. Today,
Let me get back.
this is the story of after getting off the bus, never to be seen or heard from again. Not from her family, not from her schoolmates, not from her friends, and not from social media, where she was extremely active with her friends. Not from teachers, not from no one. On January 9th, Nazaya had a typical day. She would wake
I'm gonna go
up,
past
get
this
ready for
part.
school. In March of 2024, Jarvis Butts, Aunt Shannon's boyfriend, was arrested by the Detroit police after a young girl came forward with accusations of an offense dating back to 2014. She would go on to accuse Jarvis of multiple accounts of
Now this is another little girl.
an entire year. But she wasn't his only victim. You see, Jarvis had a history of dating lonely women with young daughters because that's what he really wanted.
Facts.
He didn't want the mother. He would just date them to get close to their daughters.
Facts.
Police would question Jarvis extensively about his latest crime. During their interrogations, they would discover that he was Naziah's aunt's boyfriend and that they
That's
stayed
right,
in the same
therapy.
home together. They immediately knew that they found the missing piece to the Naziah case. Jarvis's rap sheet was well known among the community. He was known as the neighborhood predator. Naziah's family knew this and tried to warn Shannon on several occasions, but she just didn't want to hear it. Her and Jarvis had children together, and she just didn't believe it, or she just didn't want to believe that he would do anything to harm the children in her family. Matter of fact, Jarvis disclosed to Shannon that he did 10 years for assaulting a 13-year-old girl back in 2014 and is a registered sex offender. And he gave her the choice to either continue the relationship.
Look, and he not even supposed to be around children. That's a trigger. The fuck?
Or not. And she chose him over the safety of the girls in her family. But let's talk about this aunt some more. What type of person is she? I commend anyone who's willing to take in another child and provide for them. But I question your motives when you allow a known predator around your child and seemingly put yourself first. While researching this case, I stumbled upon a TikTok video of Naziah. In the background, just to the right of Naziah, you can see chains in the refrigerator. Not the white freezer on the left, but the black refrigerator just to the right of Naziah. At first, I was going to just let it go, because it's hard to see, and I didn't want to make any accusations. But I went to the aunt's Facebook page, and I seen this post. In this post, she claims refrigerators can have chains in them legally, as long as children have access to them at all times. So I'm not sure how a child has access to the fridge at all times if there's a lock and chain on it. I guess all the kids would have to have keys.
Right, therapy.
If that's the case, what's the point of the chains? I just thought that was some real strange behavior. But I'll leave it at that. Actually, I won't, because the more I dig, the more disgusted I become. Because not only did Shannon know what was going on in her home, her sister knew as well, and they would both seemingly laugh when people would tell her she was living with an offender and that her children were in danger. At this point, throw the whole damn family away.
Facts. Throw them all away.
Think about that one in the comment section. Around this time, Naziah's family members grew frustrated with police because they were pointing the finger at Jarvis from the start, but the police were slow to move their feet. They knew 13-year-old Naziah at the time had been living with the neighborhood predator, and in the past they tried calling CPS and police on multiple occasions when they heard stories about his inappropriate behavior 2 years ago at a sleepover. The children that were assaulted were questioned for hours upon hours by the adults in the situation, until the children just finally got frustrated and decided to say that they made the whole thing up, even when they didn't.
We suspected him from the beginning, considering his background and things like that we've heard about him.
Detroit podcaster Mark DeAndre.
Even in March, when I was doing the podcast, I felt like I had this thing pretty much solved as far as, what came out today. I said this months ago as far as what the end result was.
During the police's investigation, they discovered that Naziah and Jarvis were texting throughout the day while she was at school. They decided to meet up after school that day. Using GPS data and witness statements and surveillance footage, this is what police believe happened that day. Naziah got up for the morning, she got dressed, got ready for school, and then she walked to the bus stop and took the bus to school. She had on clear framed glasses, a white sweater, and a black jacket over it. A colorful Rugrats puffy jacket with a fur-lined hood, with light blue jeans and Nike shoes. There's video of Naziah getting on the school bus to confirm this. Naziah used a DPS-issued tablet that she used to communicate and communicated with an app. She then took one last picture of herself on that tablet. Using that same tablet, she sent a message to a mobile device associated with Jarvis Butts, indicating that they would be meeting up after she got out of school that day. There's also video of her getting out of school at the end of the day in the same clothes. She meets up with Jarvis and a co-worker and goes back to their auto repair shop in Detroit. Desire is seen by Jarvis's sister at the shop.
Yep.
Jarvis, the co-worker, and Isaiah were together in the co-worker's car when they went to Ypsilanti and then
Come to
returned
find
the shop
out
on
that
Connor.
co-worker,
What
he a
happened when
PDF
Jarvis
file
and the
too.
co-worker and Isaiah went to
I gotta
Ypsilanti?
go
They
to the
all, and then
bathroom.
they act like women not pedophiles too.
Jarvis's phone
That's the
places
thing
him
I've been
at
talking
all of these
about.
locations. At 9:30 p.m. to
They
12:20
act like these
p.m.,
women ain't
Jarvis
PDFs.
Butts checked into a motel.
I'll be right
There's a
back.
receipt
You get me?
confirming this as well as his phone placing him at that location. Desire is never seen again after January 9th, 2024. Now, thanks to a tip, police would find articles of Zanaya's clothing near the Rouge River around 7 Mile and Berg. GPS data showed that Jarvis visited that same area on January 10th, the day after Nazaya went missing. Jarvis started sending Nazaya sexually explicit texts in September of 2022. In September of 2023, she sent Jarvis a text saying she had not had her period. And by November of 2023, Jarvis was aware that Nazaya was pregnant. Phone records also show that Jarvis had been searching for abortion and abortion pills and drinking red antifreeze online before Nazaya's death. It's believed that Jarvis killed Nazaya because she was pregnant and wasn't able to get an abortion. But what do you all think? Do you think that Nazaya met her fate in that motel room? I think Jarvis killed Nazaya in that motel room, and then the next day he disposed of her body at that river. On Thursday, September 26th, 2024, almost 9 months later, Jarvis Butts was arrested in connection with the death and disappearance of Nazaya Harris. He was charged with first-degree premeditated murder, 1 count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, and 1 count of CP material. He is also being charged for 2 separate cases of SA of 2 more young girls. Given all this evidence,
See?
Jarvis still
2
hasn't
more young
confessed to the
girls he
crime.
messed with.
The evidence shows that Nazaya
But the
is
courts
in fact
know this, and the women here around
is still missing because
don't know
Jarvis
this.
refuses to disclose what he did with Nazaya's body. But
He
is
still
going.
ain't said what happened to the girl body.
You know what I mean?
What did you say?
These women are PDFs too. Or they, and then on top of that, not only are they PDFs, they all don't think nothing wrong with what another PDF doing. So they're accessories to it. Am I missing something?
No, you ain't missing nothing.
And then on top of it, they all probably having sex too. Because what other reason? That's they sick look culture. The aunt, the nieces, the aunties, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. They all hypersexual. And anything moving, they will do it.
Yeah, they will. They will. But let's get to.
This is the kind of thing that pisses me off. That's why, you know, that's why I got my temperature is so cool right now, and I'm just waiting. You get me?
So let me say this.
Because if a mother keeps the kid away from the father like that, but have it away from around kids, and have that dude around them, and even if that's the father, but the court should have got the kids away from her and him. And then the aunties too, because they are proving that they are co-signing that.
Exactly. They did co-sign it.
You go to pick up your kid, they be like, "It's nothing we can do." She said the kid don't want to go. No, it is. Go in there and get that kid and come back out with it. It's simple. You know
Okay,
what I
now
mean?
this is when Jarvis. Listen,
But
Navarre's Butts was recently
okay, bet.
in a county jail awaiting trial for one of the worst crimes I've
they
ever
beat his
covered on
ass
this
in
channel. Not
jail.
only is he facing two unrelated
That's
molestations
what they supposed to
of a
do.
13-year-old and another 13-year-old, but also the murder and molestation of 13-year-old Nazia Harris. This is the reason inmates will throw their entire life away when they see pure evil like this. Before I get into the ass whooping that he took in the jail, let's discuss one of the worst failures that cost an innocent girl her life. January 9th, 2024, Nazia Harris will go missing. They realized she wasn't home. The aunt, the grandma, you would think they'd be going crazy. Where's our baby girl at? They called the school. Say she's missing after waiting 24 hours.
Facts.
Now this is a 13-year-old girl.
Yep.
And you wait over a day
Yep.
to call.
Yep.
That's generations of them being like.
So you would think, okay, they fucked up. Maybe.
And they do nothing to these women.
The school. Why wouldn't you call 911?
Right.
Okay, you call the school. And
That's my whole point. The courts know that this is degenerate.
13-year-old girl, Nazia Harris, was last seen on her school bus. As it took almost 30 days for any authorities to be called about this missing girl.
It took 30 days for the police to start investigating. It took 30 days, and they only called the school, not the police. That's the craziest shit ever.
Man, police gonna be like, well, it's
But it took the
nothing
police,
we can do. It's a
right?
civil
Well, the
matter. You
police
have to go.
admitted to
No, it
dropping
ain't.
the
This is
ball
criminal.
because the school
Safety
notified
check.
the school notified the police, but it still took them 30 days to start investigating.
First of all, the school and if you was a parent, you would know to call the police first.
Right? Who does that? And then call the school, right?
Them,
But they
them low
called the
down,
school.
them
The
low
school
down
called the
women.
police. That's crazy.
Yeah, them low down women do that, and then you see that this is something ain't right, but police be like, it's a civil matter. No, it's not. Investigate. I'm telling you to put eyes on my kid.
Yeah. Let this man finish.
They're going to fail your children. The schools are going
But
to fail
you
your
know,
children. Law enforcement are. They're not going to do anything until they're forced to. However, this is a whole different level of evil. You always protect your children. You listen to your children. You go to war for your children. Document everything. And this is why you see inmates throw their entire life away to kill one of these motherfuckers. This child molesting piece of shit did 10 years in prison for molesting a 13-year-old girl. He was released around 2014.
man, they cut it off in there and make you whatever you make you a woman in there. You do that.
First and foremost, you just brought a convicted child molester
Into your house.
around a 13-year-old little girl.
Yeah, and then the
Right.
women,
Goes missing, you wait almost
and then the court don't do nothing to the women, and the women don't care if CPS in their life. They get the kids right back.
to check, call 911, call every agency possible. But you just called the school, and then that was it.
That was it. That was it.
Didn't do anything to, try to say, hey, I have a convicted child molester living in my home. No, her excuse was he was a good father. That's exactly what she said. Yet, CPS had been contacted multiple times regarding the
Facts.
household.
Everybody failed her.
Think about that. They went to a home with a convicted child molester about him having.
But me as a father trying to check on my kid, got custody orders. It's a civil matter, and I can't do that. I can't do nothing. Bullshit. I ain't seen my kid. Go in there and put eyes on my kid and bring my kid out. That's why I'm here.
This piece of shit Butts 2024 for him to be indicted for the murder and molestation.
And look how the courts ignored everything.
They don't give a fuck until they have to give a fuck. And this is a perfect
It's
example.
because they know they're not going to spend no money on lawyers.
Child molester lives there.
Think about it.
The convicted child molester had CPS called on him for fucked up relationships with this little girl. Guess what? He gets arrested for molesting a 4-year-old and another 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Prior to his arrest,
That's sick.
And the 4-year-old was his own daughter who he gave a STD.
That's sick. But guess what? Guess who was still by his side? The baby mama and her aunties and the grandmama. That means he was probably sexing them too.
They're going to develop a system. That's why they are tortured and gutted on the inside. And you'll see a dude with only 5, 10 years gladly get a life sentence. Or you'll see someone like Cain Velasquez chase him down the street and start shooting at the car. Not because they feel this is what they wanted to do. It's because they feel there's no other option. Yet, when the evil is coming through the front door and given to you by your own parent figures, your aunts, your grandmas, it breaks my heart for this little girl.
See that? The generations of it.
The real reason
That dude was having sex with them too.
he was arrested for molesting 2 other little girls. Oh, but it gets much worse. So, when they arrested him, he acted like he didn't know what he was talking about. He even tried to act like he's some pimp, like dude that's just talking to so many women. No, you're a pedophile piece of shit. And they would start to look into his phone. They would start to look into his digital footprint and realize this motherfucker was searching for ways to get rid of a baby.
Facts.
Abortion. He had conversations with his
Facts.
this 13-year-old little girl. Then they start tracking the phones. It would lead them all the way where they would find the 13-year-old Nazia's clothing, a onesie, a shoe, and other items linking her to the area by the river. They would then do more research as they looked into his phone and found out not only was he seen with her at his shop where he has a tire changing, oil changing, like a mechanic shop. They would see he was searching for this. Abortion methods, dangerous substances, antifreeze. Literally the same day the little girl was missing. Now, of course, they had surveillance footage, explicit text messages, where it would lead him to a motel where Harris, the 13-year-old little girl, was seen alive. Though they didn't find her body, they would find her school ID, personal belongings, and it all tied into the pattern of that day for the Chomo Butts. Now, check this out. Butts was not even considered a suspect. Think about that. A child is missing. Child molester lives in home, and he's not considered a suspect.
Man, what?
He never had no real relationship with the family, no direct connection to child abduction charges. Outside of molesting little kids, little girls, it just blows my mind how they let our children go to the slaughter. Now this is a whole different level, as the auntie brought the evil in, fed the evil, and loved the evil. In my mind, she groomed that little girl. She did whatever that man wanted.
Facts.
This is his MO.
Facts.
Time and time again.
Hey, none. Haven't I always told you about that type of thing? I've been talking about this for years.
Yeah, let this fit. He almost done.
Say fuck him or fuck them, they immediately know they got one. No man, and listen to me, no fucking man that you dated that's a convicted chomo pedophile, period, should be ever hanging out with your daughter, your kid,
Facts.
niece,
Facts.
That's why it goes without saying that this aunt led this little girl to the slaughter.
Yep.
As of this month, he's on trial fighting a first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and child sexual abuse activity. Let's not forget, that the little girl went missing January 9th, 2024, getting off her bus. Check this out. They didn't arrest Butts till 2024 of April, but for completely unrelated sexual assault charges on minors, a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old. Here we are, all the way to September. While he was in custody, they finally charged him with Nazia's murder. The school said they can't release information on why they never called authorities for over a month. DCF, who was called multiple times, just didn't care that people were calling and saying this child molester is doing some strange shit with these kids. They just let it happen. Live in strange times. We must protect our kids.
Yep, I'm glad he got his ass whooped up in there. That's what he did. Shit.
Nah, they gonna cut it off and make him exactly what he gonna be for the rest of his life.
Yeah, because
And
he
then them
lost his
bitches
life.
that go to prison, they gonna make them whatever they gonna be for the rest of their life. Works the same way.
I'm gonna keep abreast because he was. Let me see when he supposed. The trial was supposed to start in October, and I'm not gonna miss a day of that trial. You hear me?
Man, I'm trying to tell you, I've been talking about this for over 10 years. I'm like, it's not a red flag when it's so much blockage for the real father to see the kid, put eyes on him, be around him. I'm like, hold on, go in there and that child need to be around both. Need to see what's going on. But even though that's all being violated, especially if you got orders to see your kid,
See, it was
police will say
supposed to
it's a civil
start.
matter.
It was
And
supposed to
when
start
women can
October.
say that, that leaves open the door to niggas like that. And women, I'm not even calling them women. Those are whatever's. They be around that. And then that's leaving the child out there. The child ain't got no contact with somebody outside them. You know what I mean?
Yep, the trial was supposed to start October 6th. So I don't know what happened.
No, they're gonna do something and find them some kind of way, and then the women not gonna get charged some kind of way. They probably get a year or two. Or like they just, it's another form of population control, but it's on a sicker level. You know what I mean? And then it's also getting rid of a whole race, a lineage. Like you don't get it. Look at it. The aunties and everybody. They
And
do
then his
probably
parole.
messing with them too.
I'm looking at his parole thing. It don't even say he not supposed to be around children, but he registered as a sex offender. He not supposed to be around no children. Period.
Makes no sense, right?
This is insane.
This is how the courts protect people like that, men and women. You know damn well. But get pulled over and get some weed on you. They on you. Like this just weed. You ain't paying attention to the real problem around there. It's mind boggling.
It really is.
And that I've always said when the laws are like that and they protecting men and women like that, that means they're like that too. Cause nobody with common sense or morals would even consider none of that. You know what I mean? So that means
Yeah,
whoever's
but
sitting
this
in
is
front of
this is
them
the man. I want to play this one. This is the man who is the co-worker of him.
The people of the public wants to know where Nazai is. Are y'all gonna tell us? Are y'all gonna stop playing games? Huh? How you miss your baby? You don't miss your grandbaby? Huh? You don't care about your grandbaby?
Before we get into the official records that I received regarding King Butt's reaction as the detectives tell him that his business associate King is not the only one who said Naziah Harris was at the auto shop on January the 9th, 2024, before she vanished without a trace. Now, pay close attention to how Jarvis reacts when he hears who else said Naziah was at the auto shop.
King wasn't the only one who considered it. Okay, there was the young lady that you released. Then said, yes, he was at the shop thing, and completely goes out. His sister was in the shop. His sister was in the shop, and she said, hey, when you're gonna have a dog in the plant? Yes. That's my sister, like I said, my sister, like, she found out. Right. I think my sister brings actually from, yes, and anytime my sister, it started, anytime. She never had to go on like on a weekend. She went on a weekend. She found. I always tell her first. This is the last one. Okay.
Now, one of the times that his niece was at the shop was said on January.
First time I've seen her by herself. That's
Because y'all picture her on Harper.
yes.
Did Mr. Butt seem surprised that he saw her?
I'm not sure. I couldn't really, we was riding. I wasn't really paying attention to his expression. He just said, "Hey, there go my niece." I didn't see her, so he pointed her out to.
And at that time, you only knew her as his niece, right?
Yes.
You didn't idea what her name was.
Now, contrary to popular belief, many people think that at Jarvis Butt's preliminary hearing, that his defense, or maybe Jarvis, was unaware that King and Jarvis' own sister had told police that Naziah Harris was at the auto shop.
She
on January
did.
the
She
9th,
testified to
2024.
that.
So many people believe that Jarvis was shocked by the testimony, which is not true, because as you heard in the clip, police confronted Jarvis with statements from King and Jarvis' sister, both saying Naziah was at the auto shop on January the 9th, 2024, which is the date that she vanished. Now, as you probably noticed, Jarvis tends to speak very low and mumble throughout most of the interrogation. There's not much I can do to clean up that audio, which is why I only played a short portion. But the significance of that clip is this. Police directly confronted Jarvis with what King and his own sister said. And the most he responded with was that his sister works not too far away. Did you catch his reaction when the police brought up that his family member said that Naziah was at the shop? He looked almost surprised that his own sister placed Naziah at the shop. Now, what are your thoughts about that? Now, before we get into the official documents that I obtained on King, I want you to watch this clip.
I want to get to King. Hold
He got
on.
that date pushed back. Many now suspect that Naziah's collapse at school may have been linked to an at-home procedure Jarvis attempted, one that didn't go as planned. Now, even the judge noted that she believes Jarvis may have tried to handle things himself before the situation spiraled. And for those of you
So she collapsed at school. He was trying everything to get rid of the baby. This is
Yeah,
insane.
wondering where the
but
scene come
look,
into all
notice
this,
Now
the
this is King.
investigators say that Naziah
okay, okay, no,
This is King,
no,
the
no.
co-worker.
Stories like this just piss me off.
This is King.
and King on January the 9th, 2024. That makes King one of the last people to see her alive. And because of that, along with the murder charge that briefly appeared under his name before Naziah vanished, many have continued to question why King's, parole was violated. So now we're finally going to get some answers. Now, this
Oh, they violated his
to
parole.
show you was just a mugshot that they provided, and this
Yep.
is public information, so I'm not showing anything that should not be shown on YouTube. And it's from the Michigan Department of Corrections, and it states his name, the date that this mugshot was captured, which is on February the the 19th, 2020. So this was part of the requested documentation that I received. Now moving forward, the second sheet that I'm going to show you is his orientation checklist. So now, if you take a look at this orientation checklist, prisoner, this is an official document from the Michigan Department of Corrections. Now, if you look at the top of the form, the facility is listed as Central Michigan STF, is what it states there. And then if you look here, it says the document shows that he arrived at the facility on July the 11th, 2024. And his orientation took place a few days later on July the 15th of 2024. Now, the reason I'm showing you this document and the significance of it is it confirms the exact date he was transferred into prison custody. Now, keep in mind, because this was a parole violation, he was likely being held at the county jail first, and once the
He
violation was
was.
reviewed and processed, he was transferred to this facility to begin
These
serving
motherfuckers
time.
got so
Now,
many
this
paper
checklist
trails on
here, it
them,
also
and they
outlines
still let them out.
This is the person who he worked with. I'm trying to figure out why they put him back in jail.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too.
The disciplinary process, the grievance process, identified programs that was available for him, which would have been significant. Which would have been significant to King, as you will learn, because King also had to go before the parole board. So some of these programs are things that he may have wanted to complete, because when he went to the parole board, which you'll see that he highlighted some programs and things. So it also says identify the housing unit management team, just pretty standard information. Again, the significance is that it shows that he transferred here on July the 11th of 2024, because keep in mind what you'll hear later, there was that recorded phone call between him and Jarvis Butts where Jarvis was requesting for King to remove his cell phone from the car. So this is just a standard form here. Okay, so this is going to be the second page that goes along with the first page. Now, this second page, I just want to show you the significance of this form is that it confirms the formal transfer order. Now, as you see, it clearly states
Okay, I need to see why he in there.
RGC, which again, this is where he was housed at before he went to prison. The date the prisoner arrived at the facility was made, including this as an aggravating factor. And it states that he had a long history for, weapons. And then here it also states here that ability to control behavior. So those were both noted.
So when you on parole, you can't be around other convicted felons. So that might be the violation. That's probably the violation.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Danye, you feel like going to give me a pack of cigarettes? I'm gonna give you the credit card. If not, I'll go.
But the whole thing to me is it boils down to the aunties and mama. Aunties and the mama, man. They knew the nigga was one, and I think he was probably knocking them down too. It's no it's generations
He
of it.
might, you know what? He might have.
Cause there's no way that they're not, you know what I mean?
Yep, you got any closing thoughts? I'm tired. I gotta get up in the morning.
Hey, my closing thoughts is I've been talking about this for over 10, 15 years, and I hope people sit up and pay attention and then don't be stupid like this and don't let your goddamn anger for the kid's father or mother keep the kids away from other people that can identify something wrong.
That's true.
Even if that person is the mother or father, if they got them surrounded by things like this, and you're not able to see that kid freely, like it's a red flag. No matter who it is, family or
It
friends,
is.
and this should be a red flag when you're like, damn, where's the kid? Where's that kid? Like, all of a sudden you can't freely have access to seeing other kids. They're not around other kids in the family, and then a whole group of them women. You see how they work, and then if they over sexualize, they sexualizing the kids, men and women. You just have to pay attention to that, and then if you see a red flag, no matter who it is, family or friends, pay attention and do safety checks and make sure they do a safety check.
Right,
That's
but
what
this
I
is
have to say about it.
yeah, this is a damn shame. We're gonna get back to King because I got to do a part two. Like, share, subscribe,
Okay,
leave
thank
a
you for having me
comment.
on the show as always.
Thank you for coming, and I'm gonna call you find out what happened to your show in 1 second because
Okay,
I gotta go get some